Hello, what's up? Back with some more music recs. Now, at the top of the video, I'm gonna say that I appreciate all the comments. It's very sick having people suggest me music, and I wanted to say please keep suggesting because, yeah, I'm always ready to consume more music. So let's get into it. So first artist I want to mention is Annika Kilkenny. I found her through actually just an Instagram reel. I think she was doing like an acoustic, just like in her bedroom cover of one of her songs, and I thought it was pretty sick when I was watching it. I've been learning just the guitar and bass guitar recently, so maybe Instagram's listening to me play and is like, let's give this guy some acoustic musicians. But then I just went ahead and searched her up, and she seems like a pretty small artist, like 56k monthly listeners on Spotify. And she doesn't have a big discography, but I think what she has is really comforting. Yeah, I don't think you can really go wrong with an acoustic guitar. I recently listened to Alex G and Pinegrove, and they're more in the folk sphere, I think. And I liked them. Didn't like insanely resonate with them, but I think Annika really really resonated with me for some reason. My favorite track from her right now is probably It's Shaped You. Yeah, thought it was a great track. Next is the Beatles. They're self-titled, the white cover. I've listened to this album before. Earlier, well, I'm recording this now on the 1st of January 2025. Last year, I want to say around like February, March, I did like a whole deep dive into the Beatles because I had never like actually listened to them. And I think throughout my whole listening, this album was the only one that actually resonated with me. And I didn't revisit it until like a few days ago. When did I listen to this? A week ago. And like I went through it again, and then I just ended up liking even more of the album. So I think the self-titled album very solidly sits at like my top spot for the Beatles. And it makes me want to revisit things like Abbey Road, because maybe I judged them too harshly. Next, a single track by Bon Iver called PDLIF. I actually started listening to this track because of The Hillbillies by Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem, and I found that like it was sampled on that track, and so I just listened to the original by Bon Iver, and I thought it was sick. Yeah, it's got such warped sounds. I kind of want to use a different word there to really encapsulate what the track makes me feel, but warped is a good starting point if you're at all interested. Next was an artist called LaRussell, and the project that I specifically listened to from him was Majorly Independent. I got put onto LaRussell through Tiny Desk. Over the past year, I feel like Tiny Desk has just gone crazy with their picks. I feel like they've really hit home runs after home run. And LaRussell was one of those artists who appeared on, I think, like the top 10 list of Tiny Desk performances of the year, chosen by like the team who make Tiny Desk. And in the little clip that I saw of LaRussell, I was like, the energy that is radiating off of this man is crazy. And then I watched the actual Tiny Desk, and that energy, it just seeps through that entire performance. It's crazy. And I think, I forgot how to pronounce their name again, but Kazriel and the guys who did Bano Maria, I talked about them in a previous video. Similar to them, I think his produced work that is like available on streaming platforms and stuff is good, but that Tiny Desk performance is insane. So if I'm gonna suggest anything, go watch that Tiny Desk. Next up is Lemonade by Beyonce. I think this is probably my favorite Beyonce album. I just think it's sick. It has so much variety. And I guess the genres that she dips her toe into are really like well fleshed out. I've only done one listen, but I'm excited to do a second listen. My favorite tracks from it are probably Don't Hurt Yourself and Freedom. Don't Hurt Yourself is just crazy. Her vocals are crazy on that. Then I went to Dua Lipa, Radical Optimism. That's been on my list for a hot minute because I knew that Kevin Parker from Tame Impala helped produce some, if not like a lot of the work on the album. I'm actually not too sure about that, but I actually did a whole listen. Not too crazy about it, but I like Dua Lipa's voice. So if you somehow haven't heard of Dua Lipa, go freaking listen to that. Now, getting to a suggestion from actually literally like the first comment from a YouTube video on the channel. Niara by Doug Lucas. I'm actually just going to quickly find who suggested that. Okay, so I'm going to say Foolish with a 7 at the front. Suggested, Niara by Doug Lucas. And what an insane track to suggest. Album to suggest, I mean. By a Belgian musician, jazz musician, and it was made in 1975. Literally, the highest listened track has 8,000 listens. So, Foolish, this was an insane pool, and suggestions like this, I froth over. This is awesome. I thought this whole album was sick. I've only done one listen, but it's so indicative of what I like about jazz. So yeah, if you want to listen to that album, be prepared to listen to some good fucking jazz. Next up, I'm going to the Viagra Boys, Cave World. This has been at the very top of my to listen list for over a year. It was probably probably getting to 2 years, but I got it in before 2 year mark. This was sick. This was awesome. I don't know why I didn't listen sooner. It's rock. I fucking love it. Troglodyte, it's great. I loved Ain't No Thief. That was awesome. If you're fiending for some good rock, hit that up. I fucking love it. Also, what is it with rock and then a random saxophone coming through and just sounding so jazzy? That shit is crazy, and I eat that shit up. And then for the final two picks, I'm gonna suggest Shabaka, Perceive Its Beauty, Acknowledge Its Grace. That one was also suggested by Somewhere Soul, who I mentioned in a previous video. And it's a great flute album. I listened to that Andre 3K album, can't remember what it's called now, New Blue Sun. And I remember thinking that was great, but this, Perceive Its Beauty and Acknowledge Its Grace, is amazing. Like, I think it really shows what a flute or dedicated flute album can actually become. And I guess what the higher end of flute performances can actually reach. So I would highly suggest that. And then Entanglement by Nick Walters, the Paradox Ensemble, and Rebecca Nash. I found out about this project because I was looking for more use of days at the start of last year. And I found out through a random Reddit thread that he was on this project. And I listened to it literally 3 days ago. It is a 4-track. I don't know why I'm calling it an album. I guess it's an EP, but 4 tracks, goes for half an hour. But it's amazing when 6 to 8 minute tracks back to back to back to back all retain my focus, and I'm not dipping in and out at all. Again, if you want some good jazz, go to Entanglement as well. It's an awesome album. Alrighty. I think that's the end of this vid. Next vid will probably be a roundup of what I listened to this year, or just like the things that I want to talk about, album related or artist related. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please be sure to drop any suggestions you have for me, and have a good morning, day, evening, night, and I'll catch you on the next one.